They said I owed over $28,000. And state of shock set in. I said, "Are you kidding me?" And she sat there.
One month it may say I use $500 worth of water. The next month it says I use $100 worth of water. Now my bill has fluctuated to the fact that it's $4,000.
If they shut it off again, I don't know what I'm going to do. Do I go begging to my neighbors?
I can't talk to anybody to try to resolve it, to find out why it is fluctuating so.
I'm like, you had all this in front of you. You never once called me, but there's no leak. And it happened right after they put their new meters in.
I mean, it's just insane.
We told you yesterday about residents on Jackson's water system facing high bills they say they didn't cause, and a few explanations from the agency put in charge by a federal judge. But you may not know that the original plan to take over the system did not include the capital city's crippled billing system at all. Investigative reporter CJ LeMaster joins us with new information tonight. CJ?
Well, Courtney Ann, whether you like Jackson Water or not probably depends on whether you've been faced with an outrageous bill or frustrating phone call. Those systems are notoriously fraught with headaches for most water operators, especially since the capital city's residents have had those issues through at least the last 4 or 5 mayors. What you probably don't know is that Ted Henifin, the head of Jackson Water, never wanted to be in charge of that, calling it a nightmare. But one councilman forced it on him. Tonight, we're giving you the rest of the story.
The challenge in Jackson is the tradition. You know, we've almost got, at least a decade of failed meter system, failed billing system in many ways, and people getting into a habit of not paying bills.
Think of those water bills as the agency's report card, where trust is either built or broken each month. It's a problem far more complex than failing pipes and low water pressure, and it's why interim third-party manager Ted Henifin wanted no part of it. He said so during a Jackson City Council meeting in November 2022.
This is months of work. It's avoiding a major lawsuit, United States versus City of Jackson. Everybody's pretty excited about trying to figure out how to make this work. Get in front of the City Council, we'll go through a number of questions and answers.
That morning, only 4 of the city's 7 council members were in attendance.
And then Ashby Foote, who was president of the council at the time, said, well, why isn't the billing system in here? EPA and Tory and others explained that this was all about the emergency to get the water fixed.
Ashby Foote, who represents Ward 1, drew a line in the sand. Henifin says Foote told them all that if billing isn't included, he's going to leave. And he did, leaving the council without a quorum, which means no way to approve anything. Tory Martin, city attorney at the time, went to talk to Foote in his office, then everybody else joined.
The only way to move the order forward and get it in front of council that morning was to agree to put the billing system in. And they were, handwriting the language that was going to go in the order. And I said, well, if that's the way it's got to be. I was not a happy camper.
One man on the city council forced the issue, and that's why Jackson Water has been in charge of billing for the last 3 years. Foote told 3 on Your Side it was the right decision.
I didn't think the city would succeed at being able to turn around the billing system. We've been working on it since I came on the council 8 years prior, and we'd been unsuccessful. We didn't have the willingness or the appetite to go out and turn people's water off and hold people accountable for, paying their bill.
10 years ago, the city's collection rate was 72%, according to Foote. It's a little less than that now, according to numbers from Jackson Water. Even if the entity collected nearly 100%, that would only bring in enough revenue to offset operational costs, not the millions of dollars in debt service that still have to be paid. Now, public perception of Jackson Water appears to be a mixed bag. Residents and community leaders praised Henifin's infrastructure work, but criticized the billing system.
We're getting beat up a lot by state reps and council people and others that say, this bill's got to be wrong. Can't you just adjust it? We don't do that for anybody. One, it's not legal in Mississippi, and we're not going to do that. And 2, we're treating everybody the same way, whether they're an elected official, whether they're, someone's grandmother in a small house, elderly have to pay their water bills.
One of those state representatives, Fabian Nelson, got his first water bill from Jackson Water 2 years after he signed up. Nelson had several questions for Henifin, but the water manager skipped out on a House Select Committee for Capital City Revitalization meeting because of a travel conflict.
There's no way possible that we should have all these people with these extremely high water bills. I would like to see a policy put in place with Jackson Water where they're investigating. So when you have high water bills, they should have a team and say, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to investigate and figure out what really is going on.
Nelson says he intervened on behalf of nearly a dozen people who said they had high water bills, tens of thousands of dollars, because Jackson Water claimed there were leaks on their property. But contractors never found any leaks there. Those ongoing billing issues and Jackson Water's lackluster collection rate are just some of the reasons why U.S. District Judge Henry Wingate has yet to give in to a water rate increase. Most recently, Henifin decided to raise water rates anyway, without Wingate's blessing.
The water utility needs to stand on its own. The people using water need to pay their fair share, and this utility needs to be able to go forward financially sustainable on its own. It doesn't need to be waiting for handouts from the city, from the state, or from the federal government.
Now, Henifin tells us most customers do get regular statements, and those who are shut off fall into two categories. They don't have accounts and get water illegally, or they do have accounts and they haven't paid in at least a few months. Henifin also admits there are flaws in the system, but believes most of those are human errors. Courtney Ann.